Let me tell you why I desperately needed to win this fight. This was my second go at fighting. I had debuted 2 years before this fight and lost a split decision to a solid opponent, but due to a horrific knee injury and COVID meant that at this point it had been a full 2 years since my debut. But this was my opponent, Romeo, a tough Portuguese kid who would later go on to win European amateur titles. Ref says fight and we run at each other and we start swinging. But my opponent wasn't there just to make up the numbers, and he fires back himself. When he starts to back up, we find a nice home for the leg kick, and that very first one knocks him off balance, but he is just throwing punches and punches. Not much is landing at this point. He does a good job of countering this low kick with some strikes, and we have a nice exchange here. A big feint here gets him backing up, and I come running into this low kick that ends up spinning him a full 360 straight into the right hand, and the quick level change, and we get him straight down to the mat. On the ground, we certainly had the advantage. We were able to get a lot of ground and pound going and even got to his back, but not only did he survive, he manages to get back up to his feet, which was when I had the realization that I love being hit in the head. I wave him on after eating that right hand. The end of this first round starts to take the momentum away from me, if you will, so we have to make an adjustment between rounds and come out better in the second round. Round 2 starts and it looks very different to how round 1 started, and we're cutting off the cage to find better moments to go. So as a result, he gets a lot more aggressive and almost gives us an opportunity to land this overhand right from hell, which narrowly misses him there. And we end up in a clinch, which we use to push him back and land this big knee, which he tries to copy, but then leads to the takedown. And we land straight into a pretty dominant position in side control, where we land a bit of ground and pound and incentivize him to turn and give us his back. So again, we're chasing that choke, trying to chase that finish. But again, he manages to find a way out of the position. But we do end up landing some big ground and pound here. But honestly, he was tough, man. At any point, he could have gave me a neck or an arm and no one would have blamed him. But instead, all he wanted to do was to get back to his feet. Unfortunately for him, that's where the round ended. And when he walks over to his corner here, you can tell that he's quite disappointed and he's absolutely knackered as well. Anyone who's ever fought will know quite how tiring 6 minutes of fighting can be. But seeing your opponent like that only energizes you. And Sam would have been telling me to go for the finish here. Round 3 starts and we're probably up 2-0. He throws a naked body kick with no setup, but filled with desperation, aware that he's probably 2-0 down, he manages to get back up. Realizing a submission isn't likely, we change the approach and put absolutely everything into this big overhand left, and he just eats it. I do think it might have had a bit of an effect, because not long after, he does go for a takedown of his own. And I recently found out from a commenter that this is called the cow tipper, and I use it to great effect here to stuff his takedown. And I managed to get my hands tied together here and take him for a ride, and that was enough to secure the round, and as a result, the fight. Thank you, because you